I was actually born in Moscow. I've lived here for 5 years. When I was about 6, my parents understood that I needed to learn to love my motherland, or at least the native language, and they decided to move for some time to Uzbekistan, so I moved there at the age of 6. First to Tashkent and then to Fergana, and I lived there till the age of 11, and these were the brightest years of my childhood. At the age of 11, I came back to Moscow, started to live and study here. And last year, I went to New York on an exchange program and lived there for 6 months. Despite the fact that I live in a Russian Uzbek family, I felt lucky to live in a family where we didn't have any pressure, but more of a choice in both religion and ethnical awareness in how to treat other people. But at the same time, without considering our parents' wishes, we grew up looking at our parents' example. Till the age of 19, I lived knowing that I was not able to find answers to the questions that surrounded me. I was looking for answers like, what is a motherland? What is a belief in God? How should we treat people? Should we treat them respectfully? Stereotypical questions teenagers ask themselves. But then, returning from the US to Uzbekistan, I suddenly realized, that's it. The thing that was missing before, without me noticing, some emptiness inside, got filled up. It got filled up without me noticing, by something I had in me before, something that had been put in me when I was little. So by the age of 20, I realized it was wonderful that the feeling appeared, because wherever I am, I can love New York, for example, and its culture, and I admire how people treat each other there. But then I realized that my place is here, in Uzbekistan. I think it's very important for people to feel connected to something big, because when you realize you've more or less found your place in life, when you realize that there is a country and a people which have taken a place in your soul, it's no easier to work or to obtain things in your life, but it's easier to walk in life with your head high, because ethnical self-awareness has 3 parts, I think. Belonging to an ethnicity and being not only aware of yourself, but also that you are part of something bigger than yourself. I think it's a very strong concept, and I am very glad that I realized it without being forced or even looking for it. I think the saying, respect your elders, is too vague. I'll try to explain. Sometimes friends of my age laugh and are surprised by the fact that I address my sister, who is 2 years older than me, respectfully, or that I address my parents respectfully. I want to say that living in Russia, my family is different from others, not having this habit of people arguing with their elders. Despite whether you think you are right or wrong, you respect an elder person not only because he was born earlier, but there is an unspoken rule. He knows more and better than you because he is older. Regarding traditions, it's important to mention that we try to keep contact with each other, like with my sister who got married and lives in another district. Anything that happens to our family is important to us, even if they live in Uzbekistan and us in Russia. I keep close contact to others there. We leave everything and go there if there is something important happening, like a marriage, for example. We consider it disrespectful and rude if we do not pay attention to each other. This tradition can be illustrated by my sister, who has lived in Japan, France, and England, celebrating her marriage in Uzbekistan, and we, leaving behind our dog, all went there to attend a wedding for 500 people. Another, just before the vernal equinox, we cook the most famous and in Uzbekistan dessert, which is called sumalak. So in Islam, within Uzbekistan, there is a tradition to put wheat grains in water, then to put them into a dark room for 5 days, and only the most respected women can enter this place. In my case, it was my grandma. So this old woman goes there to water the grains until 2 shoots appear. After at least 2 have appeared, the wheat is grinded and put with water in a big pot, and several families, maybe the whole street in a village, stir this boiling pot during a day and even night, taking turns. It's great because everyone gathers for this holiday, everyone cooks this dish. When it's ready, the dish is put into jars, is shared with family members or kept for the winter. And sometimes the whole street not quite competes, but compares their desserts. It's not really the new year, but something close to it. We mark the beginning of something new. For 20 years in Uzbekistan, living conditions have been horrible because of the basic lack of social support and good living conditions, which create some difficulties. But every time I go there, about once every 2 years, I feel really surprised by their capacity for survival. Despite the fact that people have to use bottled gas in the kitchen when there are problems with the gas supply, they stay very hard-working and optimistic, to say the least. The people love to live and try to do everything to live like that.
И они, соответственно, стараются любыми путями найти способы для этого существования. Но именно то, что меня восхищает, это то, что они...
But the thing that makes me admire them is that Uzbek appreciate what they have. When I go back there with my personal problems, thoughts about career, I realize that I need to look up to these people. When you lack something, you don't only need to look for better things, but feel thankful for everything you already have. There are some ethnicities that are sort of turbulent, but you should be cautious while defining an ethnicity with only one word. But next to Uzbekistan is Tajikistan and the Kyrgyz Republic, where the political situation is stirred up. But despite the fact that there are some political aspects in my country, the Uzbeks realize clearly that they are not in any war conflict, and they should be thankful for that. And they don't wish to create political instability. They only wish to have decent life conditions, and they'll take care of their future selves. That is a big example to me. There were various changes in the country after the end of the USSR, in personal identity, in education, among others, and I understand that the new generation seems totally indifferent, either because they are upset by the reality or under the influence of those changes. For example, you meet a lot of people who don't believe anything can be changed, or that they are not capable of changing anything. Other people who I meet are not really indifferent, but acerbated by the reality. But this acerbation doesn't mean the will to change anything. It saddens me, of course, but at the same time, it doesn't stop me from respecting them. Despite all that indifference to politics or exasperation with reality, by the end of middle school, my brothers were capable of working for 20 hours a day on the market. They get up every day at 5 o'clock and go to work. So when I visit them, I tell them I am an early bird and I wake up at 8. Everyone laughs because to them early means 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Весь стол начал надо мной смеяться, потому что рано для них это 4 или 5 утра. Azizlarim, yurtlaringda doimo tinchlik bo'lsin. Sizlarga baxt saodat tilayman. Kelajagingiz barkamol bo'lishini xohlayman.